Don't miss out on the last few weeks of football action with Prize Picks, the best place to win cash while watching the playoffs. The app is simple. Pick more or less on at least 2 players for a shot to win up to 1,000 times your cash. Download the Prize Picks Daily Fantasy Sports app today and use code FIELD and get $50 instantly when you play $5. That's code FIELD on Prize Picks to get $50 instantly when you play $5. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. Prize Picks. Run your game. Must be present in certain states. Visit prizepicks.com for restrictions and details.
This episode is brought to you by Indeed. We're driven by the search for better, but when it comes to hiring, the best way to search for a candidate isn't to search at all. Don't search, match with Indeed. Use Indeed for scheduling, screening, and messaging so you can connect with candidates faster. Listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/SBO. Terms and conditions apply.
It's such a good film, and it's still really, really good. There's so many great things about it. The robotics are great. It's got a great Bill Paxton cameo in it.
That's true.
The theme for it is amazing. It's such a good theme.
One of the best scores I've seen in a film.
Yeah. But they're like the Terminator theme that they use again in Terminator 2. It's really interesting. I was reading about how sort of seriously Arnie took this and how much sort of thought he put into it, and you know, a lot of preparation went into it for him to be this robot that is essentially a robot but also has human elements, which makes him so scary.
A cyborg.
Hi everyone, welcome to Flixwatcher. Joining us in the studio we have Dane.
I need your clothes, your boots, and your attention.
Funmbi.
Hi.
And as always, Kobe.
Hi guys.
And we are reviewing The Terminator. Thank you as always to the mighty people for the mighty, mighty tunes. And thanks to Ben from Rockwood Audio for his awesome editing skills.
Please do remember to write a review and rate us on Apple Podcasts, anywhere you can do where you listen to the podcast, because it really does help us.
And you can join in the conversation with us on Twitter
at FlixWatcherPod and on Instagram
at Flixwatcher. Hello and welcome to this episode of Flixwatcher Podcast. In our studio today we have Dane and Funmbi. If you would like to say hello to our listeners and tell them about the pod work that you do.
I'm Dane Baptiste. Hello, everyone. I have my podcast on iTunes and Spotify, which is called Dane Baptiste Questions Everything, which is a podcast where myself and my producer friend Howard Cohen, aka The Hezza, pose the questions that need to be asked. And we're just trying to introduce a culture of people being able to ask questions in our society. So check it out. Some amazing alumni there. And I'm also in an amazing podcast with my colleague Funmbi, which he will tell you about right now.
Quotas Full Podcast, the only podcast where the quotas are full. That's not the tagline, but I thought that would be funny.
I like it.
And it's with myself, Dane, of course, K Kurd, Ola, Tez, Ishan, shout out to the Mandim. And yeah, it's just a podcast that where a bunch of comedians get together and shoot the shit, so to speak.
This is basically what you guys do anyway, and
that's it, man.
And just recording that.
Shoot the shit. We need the dough and just make shitty sandwiches.
It's funny.
Yeah, and food for thought, basically. And the idea of our show, Quotas Full, is that for anybody that exists outside of what is referred to as, guess, the normal or dominant culture or aesthetic of comedy, then they always have a seat at our table.
Yeah.
So that's the idea of Quotas Full.
There's a spot for you.
We're taking all the misfits, whoever you are.
The misfits of comedy.
All the misfits of comedy. Everybody's not on the cool table. If comedy was high school, if you're not on the cool table, you can come and hang with us.
Well, we'll send them your way.
For sure, please do.
Just to be clear, though, I could hang on the cool table at high school as well.
Yeah, we could, but that's what makes us cool, though, is that we don't have to depend on conforming.
Yeah, I was on every table.
Yeah. Same here. I played sports and like the music,
I was that guy. Yeah.
I'm quite smart as well. So
Helen and I don't really support any kind of idea of conformity within academic institutions, so we just bunk. Am I right, Helen?
I didn't even sit down.
Just leaned.
I'll take my tray to the end of the canteen and just throw it in a bin and be like, "This is a waste of everyone's time." Then I'd leave.
Was it a full tray as well? You hadn't eaten.
Yeah, that's it.
You just went there, bought the food, threw it away. Yeah.
Because it's
My
all
tray was
futile. That's how I felt. Like, it's just a representation.
Food is futile.
My tray was empty because school dinners, like custard, like cake and custard, that was my thing, man.
That was the thing.
We're talking today about
Speaking of
The Terminator, which is your choice, Dane.
Yes.
Can you tell us why you chose it and give us, A 1 minute synopsis.
Yeah, I can. So basically, I chose it because I think it's one of the best films I've ever seen. The first time I saw The Terminator, my mother, it's going to sound dark, but my mother was in hospital. She had a tumour and had to have a hysterectomy to remove that. So a lot was on my mind when that came out. And she was staying at Blackheath Hospital, which provides private healthcare. So you get like a film channel. And so we all went to visit my mum, and the film came on. And it was very scary at the time because the film was out in 1984, and I probably may have seen the film, I guess, maybe let's say 1987. So I'm probably way too young to see it.
How old are you in 1987?
About 7? No,
Yeah.
about 6?
Sure.
5 going on 6, maybe 5 going on 6. So I was pretty young. Maybe it must have been later than that. Maybe 88. Let's say 88. So I was like 7 going on 8, maybe.
Too young. This is an 18 though. That's the point.
Way too young to be seeing it. But I was at the time. You know, I used to watch Tomorrow's World and stuff when I was a kid. And
What's Tomorrow's World got to do with Terminator?
So like BBC 2 in the morning,
Future.
like the big future thing. About,
Oh yeah, I love Tomorrow's World, but you didn't have like.
So this is the synopsis. So
Sure.
the idea. The Terminator was a film by a legendary director and James Cameron, which I'm sure we all know for some of the biggest films the box office has ever seen. This was a film that kind of cemented his career, and it introduced a genre of science fiction which is referred to as tech noir, because it was kind of like a film noir, but obviously with these science fiction overtones, very much influenced by like Philip K. Dick and stuff. But the film is about a cybernetic assassin that is sent back in time to kill our protagonist Sarah Connor, played by Linda
Hamilton. Yeah.
Linda Hamilton. And,
She married Cameron, didn't she?
She did,
yeah,
yeah.
she did, yeah.
They're not married anymore.
No.
So played by Linda Hamilton, and
Was that before K-Biggs? Catherine Bigelow?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think they would have been.
Linda Hamilton, star of Beauty and the Beast.
Is she?
Yeah.
On Netflix.
No, like way back, there used to be this series on TV called Beauty and the Beast or something, right?
No
She was
idea,
in
man.
it. Yeah, I don't know what I used to watch. I had a cable box real early, but look up on IMDb Beauty and the Beast and Linda Hamilton. But yeah, so she's one of the antagonists. She's just a normal girl working as a waitress in Los Angeles, and then she also chances upon another very strange guy called Kyle Reese, who becomes her protector, because it transpires that Sarah Connor is not a regular woman. She's actually the scion for the person, John Connor, who in the future, 2029, will turn the tide in the upcoming war that human beings will have against machines, which will follow a post-apocalyptic nuclear war, and which makes sense because I guess the film came out in 1984, so there was still kind of the embers of the Cold War still kind of existed. So
Sure.
The threat of nuclear war was still very clear and present in the minds of Americans, especially. And yeah, the film was just I thought it was very good, it's very slick, however violent film, which you'd with a lot of aesthetic, which you would normally see in, like, I guess Japanese cinema and stuff, and especially the technology that it deals with. And yeah, the budget was about 6.7 million. It made about 78 million.
Yeah, I'm sure it just went bang, didn't it?
That's Avengers in the 80s, right?
But and also basically this film cemented Arnold Schwarzenegger as
Well, yeah.
the quintessential action star.
Well, it's him.
Dolph, would you say?
Dolph. Oh, Dolph had Dolph come on the scene at this point.
Rocky IV was
Okay, yeah.
But I think no.
So
Dolph wasn't
him,
close.
Dolph, Bruce, and Stallone.
Stallone,
So
yeah.
Dolph, Bruce,
Chuck.
Stallone.
Chuck.
Chuck is
man.
earlier. Chuck is preceding.
Chuck's not.
So are we talking 80s onwards?
Yeah.
So 80s onwards, yeah, would be Arnie was the original guy, then Dolph later on, Seagal, Van Damme, and
Just off the top of his head.
basically, yeah. Van Damme. Because the thing is, like, it was between, like, my dad was like a kung fu film and action film fan.
Yeah.
And then what happened was that Bruce Lee died. Then there was like Bruce Lee with an I, then Bruce Lee with one E, and then in a massive sweep of cultural appropriation, your martial art antagonists became all of these white guys. Until probably about like the 90s, when like
Jet Li's and stuff got come back in.
exactly, yeah, and there was a nice resurgence and stuff.
Yeah.
So like, but for a while, those are like the top guys, and that's why they're immortalized again when you see something like The Expendables. But this is where these guys all started.
Helen, what are your thoughts on Terminator?
So I haven't seen The Terminator as much as Terminator 2, just because availability of it in the early 90s was pretty hard to get, and you basically had to have someone have it on VHS to watch. Watching it again for this, it's such a good film, and it's still really, really good. There's so many great things about it. The Stan Winston special effects, I still think they look pretty good.
Yeah.
All the robotics are great. It's got a great Bill Paxton cameo in it.
That's true.
The theme for it is amazing. It's such a good theme.
Probably the best scores I've seen in a film.
Yeah. But they're like the Terminator theme that they use again in Terminator 2. And it's really interesting. I was reading about how sort of seriously Arnie took this and how much sort of thought he put into it. And, you know, a lot of preparation went into it for him to be this robot that is essentially a robot, but also has human elements, which makes him so scary.
A cyborg, this is the thing, which they allude to in the film, because obviously a robot is just an automaton, whereas a cyborg is like a robot with human tissue or organs. An android, however, is a robot that is designed to appear human, in case you were all wondering.
There we go.
I was
schooled on my cyborgs.
Well, you know, you never know. Westworld might come up at some point.
Funmbi, you've not seen this for a while, but you saw it as a kid. But what do you remember from that?
It's funny because listening to Helen now, I'm going to watch this like tonight.
Well, it's on Netflix.
Yeah, because I didn't, as a kid, I think I was too young to get it myself.
Right.
I just remember Arnold being naked when he came into that scene. I'm like, damn, why is his arse out in the movie? You know, and then
At the observatory.
Yeah, not just his arse, as I noticed on the second
there was
time
a bit of floppage.
Really?
Yeah.
That's it.
Good camera work.
A little bit of Cyber Willy.
But I love the opening scene. You know, he walks into the bar and he's in the check, and you know, no spoilers. And so that was like captivating as a kid. That's cool, isn't it, to walk into a bar, take everyone's clothes, and drive off on a bike. But then the actual concept of the movie and the whole future thing, I didn't pick that up. Terminator 2, I jumped in because the kid was there and it was a nice relationship. But this one, I struggled to get the content. And I've seen it a lot of times as a kid because I watched in Nigeria. Yeah. And you just had it on CD, so you just watch it all the time. But I never really got the... I watched it for little scenes, but I never really got the concept. So I'm going to watch it back now and see what I feel. Because I watched RoboCop recently the other day, and I was like, "Oh my god, this is an amazing movie." So
we talked about RoboCop recently for our 100th episode, and it's like, so I watched RoboCop when I was 7. You shouldn't watch that.
I watched when I was 7 too.
Me
to be
too.
It's like that. It's that kind of thing. It's like, what are you doing?
It's amazing.
My mum went to the video shop to get RoboCop for me because
it looks like a science fiction film. It's just a dude
she
in a robot
knew what
suit.
she was doing, but she just relented from all of the. Can we watch RoboCop? Okay,
all right.
As long as you shut up.
Yeah.
But I remember I saw Terminator maybe about 9 or 10ish, and I went to visit some cousins from Manchester, came to London, visit some cousins, and we were staying in Golders Green randomly. And the day before we watched Predator, fine, action, gore, everything. The day before I was like, well, can we watch the Terminator? I've not seen this. He's got the same guy from the Predator. She's like, oh, okay. And we watched it, and then she fast forwarded one bit.
Oh, I know what bit.
Which bit?
The sex scene.
Yeah.
That's the bit she fast forwarded.
Yeah.
Bill Paxman's heart gets ripped out at the beginning of this film.
Do you see what I'm saying?
Literally, his heart gets ripped out. The dude takes his own eye.
Do you see what I'm saying? This is my point. It's like, it's okay for you to see all this violence, but all a nipple, it cannot be seen.
This is Golders Green in Dubai.
That's Golders Green, like 2 miles up that way.
In the Emirates, if you watch films like on the flights, like Emirates and stuff, like the violence will be in there. But it'd be like I watch like Fast and the Furious, and there's violence and stuff like that. But then they like if a lady's in a thong, then that's like out, which is.
I think that disparity is. You see in a lot of TV shows now with The Walking Dead.
Well, you wouldn't have known how and why.
No, but when I was 7,
then?
that made the whole concept didn't make any
so,
sense to me. When I was 7, it's just like there's a big guy blowing shit up. And so until later you start to actually understand plot and stuff like that. Like RoboCop is just like gets blown apart, turns into RoboCop, shoots people, and that's the storyline when you're 7.
Well, this is quite a confusing film, especially for me because I'd seen Terminator 2 first,
right?
And then obviously I'm like, oh, but he's the bad guy in this, and you have to reassociate your association with Arnie.
That's a big part of the flip for T2.
It took me
it's
a
like,
second when I watched T2, and I was like, so I like Arnie now. And it was really weird because I'd started to like... Because this was like one of the first Arnie films I saw.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know, as a kid, when you see a bad guy, you just assume he's a bad guy.
Yeah.
So in every film, he was a bad guy.
Yeah, the same bad guy, yeah.
But then he started doing films like
Typecasting is called.
Right. He started doing films like Kindergarten Cop, and I saw him in Twins. And I started to like him. So when I saw him in Terminator 2, I was like, oh, I like him now. And it's like really cool to like him. Not really understanding that.
I'm not gonna lie, I liked him in the first one too. Like it's that
when
iconic,
he's mean.
Yeah, when he's mean. It's like the anti-hero thing. It's cold and unfeeling and stuff. He's methodical. He's calculated and I mean, I think he just again
the best part
sets the tone for so many antagonists and. I mean, there's so many things that stand out. Like I said, he's like literally just the efficiency in his terminations. Just he pulls out somebody's heart.
That's when he does his own eye.
Yeah, so he gets damaged when he has the car crash.
You can see the makeup.
Yeah, that's what I said. That's the same about special effects.
By the time that animatronics in some.
I mean, it was top bins then.
Well, even then though, sometimes I find that the animatronics is still
better than CGI.
A bit better than CGI.
Yeah.
Sometimes you get a kind of like they do it for the sake of it, and I like this because like he's a robot anyway, so having prosthesis and him kind of moving quasi robotically. Actually work better. Having animatronics actually work better because he is a cyborg himself. So, yeah, I mean, I just can't speak about how like iconic the images are in this film. Like even that picture there, like that was definitely influenced.
We're on a podcast.
Sylvester. Oh, so there's a picture. The picture with Schwarzenegger and like all the red, like very 80s lines behind him.
Sure.
Is very for anyone who kind of knows the icon I'm talking about.
It's pretty much what the DVD
video
cover.
Or the VHS cassette. But it's this very similar to Sylvester Stallone in Cobra.
Yeah,
okay, yeah.
It is. You notice in the police station when they when he goes to the police station, there's like a fiery yellow backdrop when the fire comes up, and just the lighting is amazing because it just lights up the whole.
Well, this is the thing about films in the 80s when they had any kind of budget. That's why they hold up, because they shot properly.
Yeah,
because they were creative.
Yeah,
they had to get busy.
James Cameron's like, he's all about the visual art of it. So I mean, going back to the thing about me not watching the sex scene. One thing I hate nowadays about modern television, like The Walking Dead, is it can blow people's heads apart, but you can't swear in it. You can't have any kind of nudity. And that to me is the disparity. And when I was thinking about that back to when my cousin fast forwarded past the sex scene, I was like, well, this is the most natural part of this whole film. And you don't want people to see that. Yeah. And this is what probably turned this from a 15 to an 18, actually. It was that.
Probably,
It's quite interesting as well how we as adults we don't think kids can, because you've been watching these two people go on a journey to the point where they're gonna make love, which is the natural course in that.
And
but we're not thinking
trauma's a real aphrodisiac.
But we're not thinking it as like, oh, they followed their journey. Oh my God, they're watching them have sex. Like, no, we've seen them build this relationship.
Exactly.
So we're not looking at like, yeah, get it on. We're like, oh my God, they're in love. You know what I'm saying?
Also, if you've seen the film 9 Songs, then you.
No, that's different.
If you watched Dallas as a kid or Dynasty on TV, you were ready for.
Well, the sex is concerned, I didn't find it particularly graphic.
I don't think it was.
It was like showgirl sex.
Yeah, it's just literally there was free nipple on both sides.
And that was more like because they were lying there more.
And odds are it wasn't Linda Hamilton's nipple.
Well, I'll try and I'll evaluate that later on and see what happens. How does this compare for Terminator 2 for you, Helen? You said you've seen two more, and then let's talk a bit about the subsequent ones.
Yeah, we have to.
Well, I mean,
one.
I think I only really like Terminator and Terminator 2. I don't really have any affection for any of the other ones. And James Cameron doesn't get any money or anything from any of those.
Sure.
He just...
At some point,
it's to do with the rights and things. But
I think he might be trying to get the rights back, and I think people are kind of waiting for that moment so they can hopefully.
There is the newest installment, which Dark Fate, I want to say.
Don't care.
Is it Dark Fate?
Possibly, yeah. It's one of those.
But reintroduces Linda Hamilton as Sarah Connor.
Right.
And also
Edward Furlong is going to be back. I mean,
oh no!
I know.
I hope he's okay.
I
haven't seen Ed since American History X.
Yeah, it was T2 and American History X.
He was good in that too.
He was incredible in that. I feel like he's a good actor. He's just one of those troubled.
No, yeah, he's a child actor.
He's good in those two films, but Hollywood's not really been kind to him.
Spat him out.
Not been kind to him.
It does it. He'll be all right. Macaulay Culkin, they're bringing him back at Home Alone.
Wow.
And Macaulay Culkin tweeted, he was like, dude, you better call me. And that was funny.
Yeah.
So maybe Edward Furlong will do the same thing. The iconic Public Enemy t-shirt in the Terminator 2. That shit was pretty cool as well, man.
So Helen, the thoughts, man.
I enjoy Terminator 2 a lot because there's a lot more funny moments and the special effects on it are crazy. Yeah. And obviously Robert Patrick as the T-1000. He's terrifying.
Legend. He is terrifying.
I mean, I thought Arnie was good in part 1 as his relentless, desire to kill this guy.
Man.
I said to myself, well, they definitely upgraded on this one.
Yeah.
It's like you go into the phone shop with your Nokia 2310. You come out with your iPhone.
Yeah, the XS.
That bit in the kitchen when he pretends to be John Connor's foster mother.
Oh my God!
He's like, I want Doctor, shut up.
Yeah.
Like it's not like the efficiency with the T-1000 is just. So John, when are you coming home? Then
it's
have you seen the director's cut of
that's
Terminator 2?
The ultimate version. Yeah, it's
so
good.
So good.
Okay. But that's one thing that's the main thing that annoys me about Netflix is that I watched the Terminator and thought, let's watch T2.
Terminator 2, yeah.
No, they don't do that. So with a lot of the Marvel stuff, I have like Thor 2. but not like Thor 1. Like, can you give me Thor 1 so I can lead into this, mate?
It's getting all kind of Disney Plus is going to hook us.
It's going to hook us up.
On the subject, though,
take our money away.
We can't talk up the work of Industrial Light and Magic.
Because
that was amazingly done.
T2 you're talking about now?
Yeah. T1 still really good. Still really good. You again, like tech noir, where it didn't have to rely too much on like overkill with the special effects and stuff.
No.
I think it was combined with the special effects used and just the whole kind of cadence and presence of Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Well, let's talk about Arnie. Let's talk about Arnie. Like this, these films. You have Total Recall.
Yeah.
This guy was ubiquitous. Well, at least as a proto-teen in the 80s and 90s. This Arnold was.
Arnold Schwarzenegger was to action movies what Michael Jackson was to music in the 80s.
Right.
I would go so far as to say that. Like
I'd have to concur.
Total Recall and then Predator. Terminator
Kindergarten
franchise.
Cop.
Conan. Running Man.
Running Man, yeah.
That should be remade.
You had Twins if you wanted comedy.
Yeah.
I mean, that's when
Last
90s,
Action
90s
Hero.
and
Or that's
stuff.
more 90s.
As his last action hero. And that, again, very successfully was able
True
to kind
Lies.
of parody himself or satirize himself.
True Lies.
Last action hero.
Yeah,
That's
True Lies
the
is
film
great.
I want
That's
to
a
see.
good film.
True Lies.
That's an
That was a
outstanding
good film.
Yeah.
Oh, there's got to be loads more that we've not even included. Commando.
Yes. Which was his...
Ridiculous film.
Yeah.
That's got. I think, is that still the highest body count in scenes?
I don't know. Didn't Hot Shots Part 2 overtake that?
Yeah. I'm sorry, but Hot Shots, that's a fucking amazing franchise.
It is.
I love that
Well,
shit.
it's 2 films. Is it a franchise?
I mean, I don't know. Is it referred to as a
Two
franchise?
films?
2 films?
Hot Shots.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, then maybe not a franchise. Does it have to be 3 in to do a franchise? That's a trilogy, though.
Yeah. Well, I don't know.
So let's just say...
Fast and Furious is a franchise.
We'll say...
Yeah, Fast F and F. Yeah, that's a franchise.
That's a franchise. But franchise... So are we saying franchise as so it's not a trilogy
I think it's
or an anthology?
at least like wanting to have more in the series. Hot Shots is like done and done.
I suppose a franchise can also include spin-offs.
Yeah, and you can also continue it even though your main characters aren't in it.
Yeah.
Like Rocky.
Yeah.
I mean, you can try and
Yeah.
continue it.
Yeah.
Yeah, Rocky and Creed are Creed is a franchise part of Rocky.
Rocky franchise. Yeah.
The thing with the rest of the Terminators after Terminator 2,
Yeah.
So they suck. There you go.
You know what the funny thing? It's almost like modern day technology did not serve us.
No.
Do you know what I mean? It's like, no, that's not what we loved about it.
Notes
Because you got new cool
notes,
machines.
It's notes and metrics because the Terminatrix. No. Such a shame that we didn't introduce a Terminatrix and she's
Should be-
so
should be
impossibly
badass,
powerful.
yeah.
And it just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, because
it's
then now
just-
you're just...
It's really sad because obviously at the end of the third one, I mean, should we say?
No.
Okay. I thought it was.
My advice is not to watch it anyway.
Oh,
Don't
yeah,
worry about
I mean,
plot spoilers, just don't watch it.
Don't watch it.
Yeah.
But anyway, it gets to the point where Arnie is no longer as powerful as we know and love him for,
Yes.
and it's really sad.
Yeah, not in the cool way like in the Wolverine film, Old Man Logan.
This episode is brought to you by Shopify. Forget the frustration of picking commerce platforms when you switch your business to Shopify, the global commerce platform that supercharges your selling wherever you sell. With Shopify, you'll harness the same intuitive features, trusted apps, and powerful analytics used by the world's leading brands. Sign up today for your $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/tech, all lowercase. That's shopify.com/tech.
We need to go to the scores, guys. We're a bit time crunched. Dane.
Recommendability, if you are into science fiction and or film noir or action films and suspense films, action thrillers, 5. Sublime. Just like this is, again, a benchmark for epic films. And I mean, if you know James Cameron, this is like the film that launched his career. So what more do I need to say?
Funmbi.
I'm going to give it 4.5. But if you invite me back to the podcast like in the future after I watch it tonight, I'll probably give it a 5.
Helen.
I'm also going to give it a 5. It's still as brilliant as it was back then, which is a testament to the directing, the acting, the script, everything about it. And 5.
I'm going to give it 4.8. 0.1 for the nudity taken away because make it difficult to recommend to young kids, obviously.
But you wouldn't work it because it's an 18.
And 0.1 for the. Again, it'll be hard to recommend to my mum because she doesn't like the violence.
I mean, I'm not saying that.
So 4.8 is still high.
I mean,
Okay.
porn is free on the internet, Kobe, but I mean...
I'll
tell her that, yeah.
I couldn't recommend this to my mum.
Yeah, Mom, see?
A repeat viewing score, Dane.
I'm going to give it a... depending on frequency and how you revisit it, but I'm going to say this is like I'm going to give it 5. I mean, this is like, to me, this is like a Christmas time,
Okay.
late Christmas. You're home from like a night out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's not mid.
This is like when I'm
Not
when I-
mid-afternoon
when I-
Christmas.
When I get out of town, for example, and like I'm staying in, let's say I'm staying in Manchester,
Mm.
and it's like the film for like Saturday film. Yeah, that's a nice popcorn accompaniment.
From me.
I'm gonna say 4, because for me, I haven't watched it in a long time, but I also know that a lot of people probably think they can watch this every weekend.
Yeah.
But I do believe it's definitely got repeat value in terms of it's one of those films that you do say, I should watch the Terminator again to see what you miss.
Yeah, I was super glad when you recommended it when you suggested it, because I hadn't seen it for at least 10 years, and I was like, yeah, fuck.
Fresh eyes.
Yeah.
Can't wait tonight.
Helen.
I can't remember the last time I've seen it. I have seen it a few times before, but nowhere near as many times as Terminator 2. And I just think that is the availability of it when it just wasn't available to watch as much. So I'm going to give it 4.5. I really, really, really enjoyed rewatching it.
I'm going to go for 4.5 as well. I think now it's on. It'll be something to watch every year, but I think I would want a double bill.
Yeah, you have to, of course.
My wife's away, and I think, I'm going to watch
Terminator
2 1 into
works
one.
like Alien does. You see the first 2, the others didn't happen.
Yeah.
That's how that works.
Small screen score.
If only studios thought like that.
Yeah.
Oh, God. Jurassic World? What's next?
Dane, small screen score.
Dinosaurs in space.
No one likes that. That's terrible.
Small screen score, I'm going to give it another... I'm not sure if I'm in the right category, but I might save it for engagement. So I'm going to say... For now, I'm going to give it this a 5.
5 for small screen.
Because, the translation's fine. You get this on a nice DVD and stuff. It still holds up. I mean,
right.
again, not relying too much on being HD or any kind of THX, man. Like, for a science fiction film, this kind of works a lot more with the suspense. So
Than
I think
the special effects.
Yeah, the first time I saw the film was on a very small screen in a hospital room. And, and it was very engaging for me. So
I'm going to give it a 4. I can't remember the last time I saw this film.
Because everyone goes for Terminator 2, that's why, I get it.
This is it. So I've only ever seen it on a TV size, and that's all I've ever known. But I think I would like to see it in the cinema, maybe as a double bill. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Prince Charles double bill.
No, I don't.
That sounds magical.
For that, I'm going to give it a 4.5.
I'm going to give it a 3.5 for the same reasons. I think I'd love to see this. I didn't see T1 in cinemas. Sorry, I haven't seen T2 in cinemas. I haven't seen Terminator this in the cinemas. And I think I feel I need to.
Bill,
I need to complete my life.
Yeah.
So I'm going to 3.5. Engagement score, Dane.
All right. So this is where it might get, because I feel this film definitely holds up aesthetically, and so far the themes still hold up. My only thing is, in a more enlightened world, roles of the black actors massively diminished. Like the film opens with like the time portal opening, and it's the black guy being like, goddamn. Literally, goddamn. It's like you're watching the fabric of time and space being torn apart. Probably a bit more in your vocabulary than that. And then another part when he goes and commits the massacre in the police station, the guy's like, damn. And it's like, you're watching policemen being mowed down by an invincible gunman. I'd probably have a lot more to say regarding this.
Be a bit more verbose about it,
Yeah, I'd be a bit more verbose. That, and then also I have this whole thing about like my interpretation of Terminator 2 is, I call it, not Judgment Day, I call it the tragedy of Miles Dyson.
I don't remember the...
So Miles Dyson is the black protagonist who is the foremost authority on cybernetics.
Okay,
foremost authority on cybernetics. What a deviation from your normal archetypal black protagonist. Intelligent, gainfully employed, leading his industry. Lovely black wife, lovely black
Sacrificed
child,
himself.
positive aesthetics. Can he live in peace? No, he can't. Because there's a psycho walking into what's supposed to be a gated community with a fully automatic weapon, taking shots at his head. What does he do? Does he call security? No. He hears her out and he makes the changes required to change the world now. Does he take time to write a will and make sure that his family become the primary benefactors of his wealth, being the foremost authority on cybernetics? No, he doesn't. He picks up sticks and he goes to Cyberdyne Systems
and
he
destroys
says
what he built.
And what do? Make 5 more motherfucking films, Cody. Making Miles Dyson's death in vain. R.I.P. Miles
I ain't looking
Dyson.
like that, man.
So that takes you out. Spoilers there for T2, but if you've seen T2, come on, guys.
Everyone's
seen T2.
So
T2.
engagement score for this.
So based on that, I'm gonna give it a 3.8.
Funmbi.
I'm gonna give it. You know what? I thought it was very. Again, I need to see this again. But I do remember, maybe because I was a kid, there was a part where I thought this is quite boring, and it's the part where they have that downtime just before the love scene in there. It just got a bit wordy for me.
Well, that's probably part of being a kid, isn't it?
Yeah,
that's where this is the bit in the script where it goes exposition. Okay.
Yeah. So it gave it, that part of the film probably gave it the context of the whole reason why we're here. But as a kid, I'm looking just for more police stations to be blown up. Possibly, what else can you do with this robot?
Personally, it means that's the thing. I now, when I'm with a woman in private, I'm like, are you aware that global superpowers continue to proliferate their nuclear weapons and they may culminate in the post-apocalyptic war when we go toward artificial intelligence? You see what's happening on social media. And then she's like, oh, I gotta go. I left my stove on.
But yeah, so
I'm like, I'll be back.
Okay.
I'll give
Helen.
it 3.5.
Sorry,
what did I give
3.5.
3.5, yeah, 3.5.
Helen.
So there's things that are really nice in this when you've watched them so many times, and obviously link them back to the second one. So you've got the bit where Kyle says, "Come with me if you want to live," which is then said again. So there's loads of
that's really cool,
really nice things to watch. And even if you've seen it before, you're kind of like, oh yeah. And you have to pay attention to get the whole the whole thing with the photograph. So she gets that photograph taken, and that's the one that Ed Furlong has in the second. And there's all those really nice things. But I agree, it does get a bit saggy. It's not as tight as the second one could be. So I'm going to give it a 4.
Yeah, I'm giving it a 4. Loved it all the way through. I was waiting for the boobs.
The boobs you were denied as a young boy.
Yeah, as a 9-year-old.
Good natural boobs in those days.
Yep.
Not weirdly conspicuously like asymmetrical, symmetrical like fake boobs, which became very popular in the 90s, as we all know.
Yeah.
That gives us an overall score of 4.35 exactly. So we're going to head over to Twitter. I think this is the biggest response, or one of the biggest responses we've had when we reached out to guys on Twitter before recording. Dane, as you chose a film, can you lead us out with your man here?
1 out of 2.
No, 4.5.
Oh, 4. Oh, that's what it is. Oh, 4.5. Is there no half-star emojis? 4.5, topped only by T2. Fair.
Funmbi, the second one.
Utterly iconic.
Sorry, and that was What Were They Thinking podcast, Best Pick podcast.
I'm reading Best Pick podcast,
Yeah.
right? Utterly iconic. Even the dated stop motion effects at the end can't halt this brutal and haunting thrill ride. T2 is a slicker, but this is terrifying. 1, 2, 3, 4. I think that's 5 stars.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it was great.
Best
man.
pick
It was amazing.
Helen.
So this has come in 2 tweets. It's really great. Has like robots and stuff in it. And then we sort of said, a little bit more, and we'll start. Well, it has Linda Hamilton and Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Michael Biehn.
Yeah, spelt differently to what we remember. Michael wasn't a star at the time, nor was Linda or Arnold, so no stars. Oh, but seriously, it's a 5-star movie then and now.
Dane, these two.
The best Terminator movie. The blend of sci-fi and horror is pretty much perfect. 5 for sure.
Funmbi, from Top Film Tip. Sorry, that was sudden double deep. Cheers, guys.
Time traveling.
Sorry, stop playing around with the computer screen.
Time traveling pendulous. Penis flashing cyborg hunts mullet topped mother of unborn hero. Synth scorted perfection. James Cameron brings his fever dream to life in his genre defining standard setting sci-fi classic. Another set of big stars and fire.
5 robots.
5 robots or 5
5
fires.
robots and 5 fires.
Helen.
So this is from Benji Box.
Yeah.
Is that right? I recently rewatched this on the big screen and realised it's basically John Carpenter's Halloween, only instead of the shape, it's a robot from the future, and instead of haunting babysitters, it's haunting baby mamas. I love it so much. A perfect sci-fi horror. I can only assume they gave it 5 stars.
Can only assume that.
Yeah.
Got one more there, Dane. This is Liam H. Dempsey.
Stripped down sci-fi horror thrill ride. Arnie is perfectly cast. Michael Biehn is intense as fuck. The romance between Reese and Connor is surprisingly effective. Adam Greenberg crafts an impressive nightscape, and the stop motion effects are fittingly creepy. 5 stars. Totally agree. Also, a lot of Harley Davidsons got sold after Terminator.
Yeah, and sunglasses.
Yeah, and lots of sunglasses.
We got a couple more. Funmbi.
Cameron's fever dream of tech paranoia is as confident and kinetic today as it was 35 years ago. Special mention to the theme tune, which resulted from a machine rebellion against composer Brad Fiedel. like 7 skulls or something like
It's
that.
got to be one of the best theme songs ever.
I need to re-listen to it because I wasn't really paying attention
really
to it.
good.
Do you know I'm going to listen to it? 'cause you
Download it
mentioned
on
that as well.
Spotify.
So good. So scary.
Helen, do you want to say this last one? So,
So-
that was at Shy Guys Pod, and this is last one's from Retro
Rumble blog.
Yeah.
A synth-tastic sci-fi horror classic with a star-making turn from Schwarzenegger and a cracking brackets official directorial debut from James Cameron, and we've got 5 schools there.
Yeah, absolutely amazing.
So a lot of love.
Everyone there, give it
there.
5 stars. Well, there's a 4.5, wasn't there? Because T2's better in their opinion. Guys, can you tell us briefly where you're from, where we can find you online, and say bye to the listeners?
At Funmbi on Twitter, at Funmbi Omotayo, Funmbi_Omotayo at Instagram. Once you start typing in Funmbi, it will just lead you straight to the platform. Don't worry about that. Check out Quotas full every Friday, and doing shows and whatnot. So just keep posting. Stay tuned to us, guys, and thanks for listening.
Cool. First of all, thanks to you, Kobe and Helen, for having me. Big up Funmbi as well. Funmbi is spelled Funmbi, in case you struggle with it. My name is Dane Baptiste, and you can find me on Twitter under Dane Baptweets, and on Instagram as Dane Snaptiste. My tour, The Chocolate Chip, will begin in 2020, and will be more information to follow. So look out for that. In the meantime, please visit danebaptiste.co.uk for more gigs and for more media and for more clips. Thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you very much, guys.
Thanks so much for coming on. Bye. Enjoyed this episode of Flixwatcher podcast? Why not leave us a 5-star review on iTunes? You can also follow us at FlixWatcherPod on Twitter, and we're at FlixWatcher on Instagram. Thanks as always to the mighty people for their mighty tunes, and Ben from Rockwood Audio for his awesome editing skills. If you're looking to get your podcast edited as sweet as this, get in touch with Ben, and that's Rockwood, ROKK Wood Audio. Tell them Flixwatcher sent you.
You just heard a Stripped Media production.